All right. So, after Lev has been given all of the information by Nyx and Colette, and Nyx suggests like, hey, we should probably get Ronaldo out here or maybe even Imani to take a look at this and see what's going on. Lev says, "Okay, I'll uh I'll get in touch or I'll have someone get in touch with Ronaldo. It'll take, probably 15 minutes or so. He doesn't use a lot of phones. So if he's not at his house, we'll have to track him down." So Lev kind of gives instructions to a couple of the other guys that are there, and they kind of take off. They actually get in their car and leave. Like they're probably just gonna drive to Ronaldo's house, and see if Ronaldo is there, and go from there. That's typically with that particular bunch. That's how they do things. They don't really call them. So those guys take off, and Lev is gonna step away and make a phone call, but he's not really in earsight. He's kind of walked far enough away to give himself some privacy, um, so that he can speak on the phone without you guys necessarily hearing what he has to say.
I look at Nyx and I say, you should check that wall again, see if it's still glowing after the ghosts left.
I go back to the corner and look at the wall. I still
It's
have the
still
sense.
glowing.
It's still glowing.
Yeah, you would still see it glowing just as it was before. Nothing has changed physically about it that you can see.
It's not I tell Sparta, it's not pulsating like when they were chanting or anything, but
But whatever it was, it's still
it's still
there.
here. Well, in my vision, obviously, like, I guess you could tell that there was something there, but in my vision, they were actively wiping it down. They were trying to, after they concluded the whatever they were doing, they were actively wiping down whatever they used on here.
So that means whatever it is, those ghost things apparently don't have to be in the tomb to keep it going.
Alejandro seems stressed.
Okay, so Sparta, you come over here. Come over here.
I walk
uh,
over to her.
Colette's gonna go over to Nyx and be like, "Can I have my phone back?"
Oh, yeah, sorry. And she's gonna give it back, and like, you're just gonna see,
Thanks.
like, that she opened a bunch of, like,
She was reading all of
little.
Ashley's messages. No, I'm
No,
just
no, no, no. She
kidding.
actually wouldn't. For real.
I know. I'm
Like,
teasing.
even though, like, even as toreador as she can be, like, she's respectful of her own privacy, like, as, also a famous person with no privacy. But, but if she, like, whenever she opens her phone, like, you'll see the Wikipedia, and then I clicked over, there's, like, a little bit of search on, like, how the woman looked like and all that stuff. Related
Right.
to the tomb and like what the significance was and whatever.
Right. Okay. So she's gonna
But
like
yeah,
be on her phone doing something while you guys are chit chatting.
and so
Probably texting Ashley.
I'm
What
gonna
the
literally
fuck?
like put a hand around my arm around one of Spartus's arms, and I'm gonna look at Alejandro and I'm like, I don't know how safe it is. I definitely have no idea, and I have no qualification to say anything, but as we are here, should we maybe look inside as well? Being
She's like, "You're
careful.
coming with me."
And she looks at Sparta. That is like she has him right there. She's like being careful and thinking about things before like throwing ourselves inside of things.
Well, I mean, I did think about before I kicked the door in.
I swear to God, you're a fucking punching bag at this point.
But I
Like, no joke, you're a fucking punching bag.
okay,
And
touching the wall was a mistake. I agree.
look, Dan Aykroyd can't help us now.
The Da Vinci Code? Are we talking about that guy? To be
Dan
fair,
Aykroyd cannot help us out.
that book was pretty good. You know, the first and the second were okay. I mean, it was a thing. Movie not that great, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
However, I'm more curious about the other graveyards.
Yeah, I wonder if they have anything like ghosty about them as
Similar.
well. Maybe this wasn't the only one.
Well, the thing that perturbs me is why is there this? Well, obviously, Sparta got hurt because he touched the forbidden wall. But what was the point? Was it an alarm? And if it was an alarm, very odd alarm, then we are kind of fucked.
It
Because
could-
those two things that were here guarding whatever are gone, way long gone now. So if they're like a weird like ghost like alarm that goes and be like, yo, your shit has been touched, bruh. Then
What if we
we're
were ghost monsters out?
Oh my God, these guys are going way too long. All right.
I mean, to be fair, Alejandro, just like give me just a little bit of like recognition here, okay? To be honest, but by what we just saw, what I just saw in the last 4 nights of this new life, or unlife, or whatever it is, like anything is possible right now. Are the elder gods real?
I have no idea. I didn't even know ghosts existed.
Well, now you know.
But what if they were being trapped in there and we just let them out?
Yeah, exactly.
They could be out there terrorizing people.
So if there's vampires hunters, are there ghost hunters as well?
Yes, they made 2 movies.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
Okay, hold on. You know
I
what?
think you're right. We should check inside the tomb.
Oh, that whole conversation.
The only thing I'm gonna say
Is who you
next
gonna
time
call?
a situation. No. Next.
I think you should go in
is-
first.
It, next. If a
Nix
situation
is
like this
actually
hap-
laughing at that like I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
but I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be angry. Okay. Next time something like that happens, and you see me use fleet to get the hell away, follow the lead. When I took Colette away from that, I was hoping that you would have taken Sparta.
I literally will never be able to move Sparta. Do you see how big this man is? I don't have that much strength. No, like off character for real. Like I would not be able to like move Sparta. Like I would
She
not.
would have to do Colette. And Colette's pretty thick. Colette has stamina 5.
Like even if I have fleet, it doesn't like for somebody that has potence and stuff. Like I
Oh, yeah.
don't think she would have like
I'm a big boy. You can't just throw me over your shoulder.
You're thick.
Yeah.
Well, next time when a situation like that happens, try to grab Colette. I'll take care of Sparrow
Okay.
because we have to watch over each other as well. Because
Need to look at.
we didn't know what would have to happen to Sparrow. Wouldn't know if they would have attacked him, and we don't know what sort of damage Sparrow could have had. But at the same time, Colette was the closest to me at that point. But just take this as a lesson because you gotta be aware. Just like you are when you activate and you hear a gunshot, this is almost the same type of situation when we need to get away.
Noted.
But if you guys want to go and check it out, go ahead. I'm not going in there.
I'll go in first. I'll go check it out. I looked in a little bit as like an initial glance, and I didn't see anything. But
Let me see if there's anything that I can see that it's glowing and might like do something.
So you're gonna look around inside. Okay, as you look around inside, you can't see anything. It's now really the only light that's lighting up this area for you, and what your eyes can see is just kind of the front area. You can see like the front of the casket, but there's nothing glowing like it was before, like the figures and the
Nothing
side.
like supernatural hiding there.
No.
Like that is being seen by my
Yeah, no.
supernatural eyes.
Just looks like a tomb at this point to you from what you can see.
I can't see anything with any traces of that glowing thing that was protecting the other side. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't be rigged with other physical things like, the van that exploded and such. Also, I can't see very well in here.
should I go in and check to see if it's safe?
No, I'm just kidding.
At this point, I don't know anymore. Honestly, like, fuck.
I still say we should go and check out the other graveyards.
So Sparta can see clearly because you still have eyes of the beast.
Yeah.
So if you want to look around, especially the door frame and everything, to see if you can see any type of devices or anything like that
Yeah,
are
you are
more
the only one.
man-made, you would be able to see if you were to look inside.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. As you kind of slowly try to peer inside of this, go ahead and do a. Would we be using? How does Eyes of the Beast? You don't have an actual roll for, do you?
No. When
No,
you
it's just I
activate it,
can
is
see in the
active
dark.
until like he wants to deactivate it.
Okay.
It just allows me to
The
see
only
at
thing
night.
that it does is that like he's gonna look
Oh,
unnatural as
oh.
fuck.
You do get a bonus. That's what I was wondering, but it's on intimidation, so that's not
Yeah.
gonna matter. Okay, so go ahead and do another wits and investigation, which is just wits for you. I think we can see where Sparta needs to get his experience.
Okay,
Investigation.
two passes.
Okay, that works. So as you're looking and you're kind of looking in the corners, you're looking for any booby traps basically at this point. And your eyes, you can see clearly. It's like as if it was daylight for you. The shadows, it doesn't make a difference to you. And you're not seeing anything inside of this. It just looks like a tomb to you. The casket's there. It's kind of like dusty and, how you would expect the inside of a casket that's probably been undisturbed for a few hundred years. until now when you kicked the door in. But you can see like debris and stuff like that, but you don't see any type of devices that were inside of this. And you also get the impression from the conditions inside that it has been untouched for a few hundred years. No one has stepped inside of this tomb. Not, how you guys are about to step inside anyway. So it doesn't look like anything has disturbed it in quite a while.
It seems safe. I don't see any traps. Do you think we should go in? I start to count to 10, just under my breath.
I don't know if it's a good idea. If there's nothing, but what were you saying, Sparta? That it doesn't look like there's anything in there?
It looks like it's been undisturbed for a very, very long time.
By
But
this
obviously,
point,
this place has to be here for a reason.
by this point, Colette would have been done kind of being absent-minded, and she's just gonna say, like, what the hell? And she's just gonna push past you and walk inside of the tomb.
I follow her in, just
And she grabs her little flashlight, as you can see that she usually has like this little tiny flashlight, and she's kind of like flashing it around. She doesn't have her fancy eyes like you do. So she's using a flashlight to kind of look around and walk around this casket that's in the center of this tomb. And as is anybody else entering, or is it just you
I
and
am at the
Sparta?
door. I'm at the doorway looking inside and seeing what's happening. If Alejandro is there, I'll make space for him to go and come and go however he wants.
Okay. As she kind of like shines light on the top of the casket, you can see that this casket was made with care. Like whoever buried her here really cared about her, and preserving her remains and everything. And it's got like this really pretty intricate design on it. And for the most part, the casket and even the interior of this is pretty well kept. It's dirty and old looking, but it's definitely been made out of some type of material that is made to last centuries, because looks pristine almost, other than just being like dirty. But you don't find anything. Nothing sticks out. It's literally just a tomb at this point.
Should we open the casket?
I am not opening the casket, but you guys do you. I'm gonna step out for this one.
I mean, we can. I place my hand on the casket and be like, I can do it.
Okay, nothing happens when you touch it, so you're fine. Guys, are we really gonna open somebody's casket?
I mean, they chose this one tomb for some weird ass twin ghostly friends to reside in. For what? There's clearly nothing else here. The only thing that is inside this place is this thing. And there's definitely something inside, hopefully. If there is nothing, then that would be super weird, right?
What if there's two bodies in there? Because there was two ghosts.
Sure, yes. Open it.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to open the casket.
Okay, so you're gonna try to open it. Okay, so your first shove, you don't put a lot of effort into it 'cause you're even yourself, you're kind of like, this is weird. It doesn't move right away. It kind of seems like you're kind of like the door. You gotta remember this woman was buried in the 1800s. She has been there for a long time.
Okay, I'm gonna try a little more force.
Okay, you're gonna push it harder. All right.
No, if I see that it doesn't work, I'm like, maybe not. Don't do anything. Don't touch it anymore. If it's not opening, don't force it.
Okay, I'll
Don't
step
force
back.
it.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
force it. I don't know. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but what if she voodooed her casket and we open and then we get a curse stuck on us forever for touching?
Like what happened with the wall?
Yeah.
That wasn't fun.
Okay, I'm gonna
Maybe
go
we should
out.
just wait for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll walk out of the tomb too.
Okay. So everyone has now left the tomb. By the time you guys are coming out of the tomb, I would say probably enough time has passed, and the two guys that Lev previously sent away have now arrived back, and you can see them kind of in the distance getting out of their car. And someone who resembles the robery of the very beloved Ronaldo does seem to be with them. And they begin to approach from across the street where they parked. And they stop. Lev had like walked away. He was on the phone. He's still been over there like the whole time. And they walk up to Lev and are talking with Lev, like a little bit, not within earsight. They're kind of on the other end of the cemetery. And Lev appears to be explaining to Ronaldo what happened in full detail. So after a few minutes of that, Ronaldo is gonna begin approaching you guys, and he's just gonna walk up and sort of nod his head and, hello. I wasn't expecting to see you guys so soon. How are you?
It's good to see you, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Eden is like,
Eden's a little too happy to see Ronaldo. He's gonna like look at you and smile because he did get your letter that you wrote him, obviously. And he kind of like smiles, and when he looks at you, you can see his expression is much more warmer than it was moments ago. So I was told that
oh
you
yeah,
had a
come.
strange Okay.
Whatever you do, don't touch it. It bites.
Okay.
Don't listen to him. Come over here.
Okay. And
So
he's gonna
yeah,
follow you
Eden
over.
is gonna show exactly where it was. She's gonna show the notepad with the writing that she saw in case he can't see it for some reason.
He can see it.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, she'll show it
She'll
to
hold
him.
them. Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
I think it's good for you. He's gonna just he doesn't really know what to say to you, but
Okay,
he's just
I'll
now
just
focusing on
Be right here. Just let me know. I'm just
Okay.
gonna be looking.
He's gonna study it for a few minutes. And he knows exactly what it is, obviously. He's not gonna disclose to you guys at the particular moment of what it is, but he's kind of at the moment just reading and deciphering the language that's on this wall, and he's silently doing this as he's looking at the wall. After a few moments, he will look over toward, like, Lev and those guys had followed him, and he's gonna say, we need to get in touch with Imani as soon as possible. And immediately those same two guys just leave. Like they know their place, they know what their job is. They're like, all right, well, we're driving to Imani's house now. And he said he's gonna ask, okay, did you guys disturb this in any way?
I might have touched it.
Nyx is like,
You touched it.
It hurt.
It hurt.
Packed a
Okay.
punch.
Yeah. Let's nobody touch this here on this side. It will hurt everyone that touches it. And it could be pretty significant to some people. Okay. And you said there were two figures that looked like ghosts?
They went
Okay.
right through the wall.
but
Okay.
Ronaldo, I did my vision thing, right? The premonition.
Okay.
And I saw the person that was making this, and she points at the wall and the whatever writing. And they were inside, but as a ghost or disembodied ghost.
Okay. What exactly did you see?
And she's gonna explain the wet, the red, the writing, the skin, the mirror, two people,
Okay.
and the breaking
Okay.
in the two pieces. Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as you explain to him in full detail, hold on, I didn't write down the name of this. So how did I open up exactly to the right page? Holy crap, that was coincidence. I just need to find which one it is. Hold on. Okay. So when you explain to him what you saw, he's going to explain to you that what is on this wall is what they call a ward. And he's gonna see that, like, just by the looks on your faces, that really means nothing to any of you. But he's just gonna kind of like backtrack a little, and he's just gonna explain, this is something that we are capable of doing. And you mentioned something about a mirror, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you saw them when they were inside as ghosts, did you happen to see if they were still holding the mirror? I'm going to assume they were, but were you able to see that? Would you have been able to see that from where you were? Would you have been paying attention to that, though? I guess you could do a roll if you wanted to.
Okay.
Because I don't know if
Intelligence.
you would have been paying attention.
And I would have gotten a really good look since they were literally coming right through me.
Right, but would you have been paying attention
To the
a
hands.
shard of
Yeah.
glass in their hand? Probably not.
What do you want me to do? Like an intelligence roll? That's probably an intelligence roll.
Yeah, or either intelligence or awareness. I feel like it would probably be awareness, because how aware were you in the moment of what was going on?
Yeah, but instead of
You too.
wits, it would probably be intelligence, right? Well, I mean,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter, but
Either, yeah, I guess it would be the same. It would be the same.
three.
3? Okay. So I feel like you wouldn't necessarily know. You would like guess, like, okay, maybe they were, but you wouldn't be like 100%. Yeah, I saw in their left hand, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you probably wouldn't specifically know.
Yeah.
And after he asks, he's gonna say, "What were they? Um, were they able to pass through the entire time?" Okay, okay, okay. Then they definitely
Yes.
were still holding it. Okay.
They even went through me.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so this is he kind of like looks really nervous and he looks around like there's a lot of people listening. They don't usually talk about these things in front of this many people. This is something we can do with certain magic. We can make our physical bodies basically, it gives us passage through any physical thing. We can't be harmed. We can pass through walls, we can pass through any physical structure. And we can do it as long as we are holding on to a shard of the mirror that you would have seen. So a piece of the glass. As long as we have that in our hand, we remain in that state. So I believe that's what was happening.
So they weren't ghosts? You think they're still alive?
Well, if they were the ones that did this, then they're not ghosts. And
Huh.
Nick, well, he would call you Eden. He would know you're saying Eden.
Yeah.
Nyx. And Eden mentioned that
Oh,
she saw.
by the way, it's Nyx now. That's my new identity.
Oh, okay, sorry. Nyx saw one of the women that was in her vision was one of the women. So she was the one who made this.
Mhm.
Therefore, no, she is not a ghost.
Well, something happened. I don't know how much you heard from Lev, but we previously contacted the sister of the ex, a cult leader of the Pure of Heart or whatever the Pure is, the group that the terrifying guys, with the fire bullets, and well, it didn't go wrong, but she thought I was somebody that I don't know exactly who, but she was writing something about twos being ones and them being ones and us being one and twos and whatever. And
As you're talking, he's going to look back at the phrase.
Mhm.
But he's still listening to you.
And the thing that the two, whatever they were inside of this tomb, were saying is, and she like flips the notepad around and is like, two is better than one. We are two. You are one. We will outlast.
He's nodding as he's kind of staring at these symbols on the wall.
Does that mean anything, or is it a code, or
No. But the message here is similar. He says as he points to the letters that no one else can see except for Nyx and him. To you guys, it's still just a blank wall. But he's indicating this wall and whatever is written on it has a similar type of message of what he was just told by Nyx. Okay, we should wait for Imani. We shouldn't disturb this at all right now. It does need to be destroyed, unfortunately. Do we know who this tomb belongs to?
Oh yeah, you looked up the lady.
Yeah, it's Marie Laveau.
His
who-
eyes get wide
What?
when you say her name. This is... He's gonna just kind of like put his hands to his temples and he's just like,
Yeah, you can
oh.
read it right there.
Well, the door is where her name is, and the door is now on the
Oh
ground.
yeah, right. Right.
So he didn't know it was her.
Yes. It is her indeed. Yeah.
He now is realizing the tomb, and he now that he's paying attention because he was too distracted, he's noticing all of the symbols, everything that's around him, and he's just like coming to this realization of who this tomb belongs to. And within himself, you can see there's some type of strange panic happening with him that you guys don't really understand or know why he's panicking.
Interesting behavior.
But it seems significant in some way to him, like this temple. I mean, sorry, not temple. This tomb
person.
and this person, right? And he is now going to walk away a little bit and just kind of stand with his like hands like this at his like chest and holding his head up, and he's just kind of looking down at the ground, like thinking to himself. And that's all that he says for the time being.
I look at Nyx and Alejandro and I say, I think it might be really important that it's that woman's tomb.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else has thought about this, but considering what she did while being alive, have you ever considered that she might have been a Tremere? If she got turned?
I never heard of her before. I just did a fast Wikipedia search.
I'd never heard of her either.
So, no, actually.
I'm
It's
I'm
probably
just-
a good thing.
Actually.
I'm just saying.
She's literally like Eden right now is feeling
love
probably
that
as
response.
delirious as me right now. So yeah, we match.
actually.
It's probably a good thing we didn't disturb the coffin.
I think
If
I
he's
had a
as
good hunch about it.
But I still don't understand how it all ties together. So we didn't release some ghost monsters. Clearly, whoever they are, they know we were here now. And they're apparently still alive.
Yeah, my speculation about the ghost alarm was probably correct in a way, considering that those weren't even ghosts, but probably some
Kindred
voodoo
of some
kindred, Tremors and stuff.
All this voodoo shit makes my head hurt.
Colette,
Yeah?
at least now we know what to aim for.
Oh yeah?
That is...
A mirror? Didn't you guys hear what Ronaldo just said?
Right. He said as long as they're holding it, they are ghosts.
Well, what happens when you shoot it and it breaks?
Then I would assume they would take their physical form again. Is the mirror ghostly?
That's...
I don't know. We should probably ask, but I didn't think about that.
True. Swear this just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
I still would like to have a vampirical encyclopedia so I could like go and ahead and study some stuff.
It would definitely help.
Okay, so as you guys are kind of chit-chatting, so at this point, there's not really a lot that you guys could do. You're kind of just standing about and waiting for Imani to come. After a few minutes of like Ronaldo being really strange, he's gonna go over to Lev and talk with Lev. And Lev is going to then kind of disappear for a few minutes before he returns. And Ronaldo, I mean, you guys have seen Ronaldo in he's always seems to be kind of anxious. That's how he's like kind of always been around you guys. He seems really nervous, but there's this strange energy about him that is happening right now as you guys kind of observe him. He seems almost like distraught. Like he's visibly upset about something. And that happened as soon as you guys mentioned that name, and then he kind of realized, because like I said, he was so kind of caught up in everything that was going on, he didn't even pay much attention to the tomb itself, or which tomb it was. But clearly this tomb has a lot of significance for some reason.
For him.
And
It's
yeah,
triggering.
and
Bitch is
he's
triggered.
upset.
Okay.
Yeah, he's upset that this particular tomb seems to be involved in some way in whatever is going on.
Okay.
So this is what you guys are observing. Whatever. So roughly I'd say 20-25 minutes go by of you guys kind of just chilling, waiting.
Yeah, if that time spent passes by, I'm probably gonna try to like approach Ronaldo because
Your
Nyx
mic cut out.
can't.
You're gonna do what?
Nyx can't really like not do anything.
Okay.
So
You're gonna try to do
she's
what? Like,
gonna
console
try
him or
to
something?
like go there and test the waters. She is sensing some tension and upset from Ronaldo, and she wants to understand what is the significance of his upset, especially considering that he's a powerful and old vampire. What is upsetting him now? So yeah.
Okay. So are you gonna try to talk to him or?
Yeah, just chat.
Okay. So when you approach him, he seems like his mind is elsewhere. Like he can't really focus on you and like what's going on. But he kind of like makes eye contact with you and
Ronaldo,
sorry,
are you doing okay?
Yeah. We should wait for Imani. And he's not making eye contact with you, but he's like very deep in thought about whatever is happening. And he doesn't disclose any information to you.
If he says that it's better for Imani to come here, she's not gonna pry. She knows her place.
Last time people questioned Imani, bad things happened.
No, but she never, right? Like, I mean, you know the letters, so like I know that if he said that he's gonna wait for Imani, it means that it's even beyond his control. So I think like Nyx wouldn't go and like push more than necessary. But she'll be like, I'm very good at just sitting sometimes. I'm okay at sitting and just staying by somebody, so I'll just be here if you want to talk.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to talk. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm here, though.
Okay. Okay, so you guys are just gonna sit quietly. He's very upset, like I said. You can definitely see, and he doesn't want to tell you why he's upset. And whatever's going on, just how you got the same sense of the brief conversation that was had that one night in his farmhouse when Alejandro was questioning what what was going on. He's very secretive and very selective with what information he gives. This is just how most Tremere are.
Yes, that's fine.
So after about 25 minutes, those two gentlemen that went to retrieve Ronaldo have now arrived with Imani, which you see now in the same distance. They parked a little bit away. You can see people like funneling out of this car. And you can see Imani get out, and you can see the three Tremere that are always with her are once again with her. And they begin to come to this area. 1 second to check something, sorry.
I'm gonna whisper to Nix and Alejandro. Do you think I'm gonna get in trouble for kicking the door in?
Sparta, I think there are bigger problems that we are going through right now. And
Y'all fucked up. For once, it wasn't me. Y'all fucked up. I didn't do jack shit.
me? I didn't do anything.
Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
It was definitely me, but this place seems really important, so maybe I shouldn't have kicked the door down.
Counting to 100 from now on.
100.
As you guys are having this little conversation, you're watching. While you waited, Ronaldo sort of sat down kind of in front of the tomb. Like he's a little bit distance away, but he's sort of like sitting and kind of looking at like the front side of this tomb now. Kind of like he's sort of calmed down, but if you look at him, the way he's looking at it, it's like he has endearment. Like he's looking at it like there's like love there, like kind of exuding from him as he's like looking at this tomb in front of him. And he's not paying attention to like what that Imani has arrived. He's sort of kind of focusing his attention on this little tomb. And as Imani and the three arrive, you can see Lev go and meet them sort of at like the gate entrance, sort of, so to speak, of this cemetery. And he stops them and has a brief conversation with them. And as he's talking, and you guys are kind of in the middle of that conversation of talking about the door and whatever, all of a sudden you feel this gust of wind sort of come as all of you are kind of like sitting, standing, whatever, crowded around Ronaldo in front of this tomb. You feel this like, and there is a woman in front of the tomb that is now on her knees, and she is sobbing uncontrollably in front of this tomb. And if you look back at Imani, one of the three that were originally with her, there are now only two. So that one of those people has fleetness, sure, and is now fleeted,
Floated?
fleetedness.
The fleetedness.
She,
Or
I don't know
floated?
how to make that past tense, but she did that, and she's now kind of in front of this tomb. And as soon as she starts sobbing, Ronaldo's head sort of falls, and you can see red blood tears dripping into his lap on his robes. That's kind of what happens as soon as they arrive.
Nyx is gonna slowly step back and grab Spartus's arm and step back with him. And on her way over, she's probably gonna touch Alejandro and like also step back over and be like, I think there is a moment happening right now.
Y'all fucked up.
Yeah,
Wasn't me.
I think we should give him some space. And I'll back up with her.
Okay, as you guys are doing this, you can see Imani with her two little Tremere looking all cool and badass like as they walk towards this temple. And Imani's face, once she's kind of close enough to you guys, she looks incredibly serious. There is little to no emotion on her face as she is walking towards you. And one of the men, there's a female and a male that are with her, and the man that is with her is also crying. You can see red streaks down his face as they slowly sort of walk towards you. None of them acknowledge you, and they go and stand. Imani stands next to the woman who is sort of on her knees sobbing and just places her hand on this woman's back. And they all just sort of stand there for a moment, not saying anything, not even acknowledging you guys.
Oh, I'm still stepping back.
Colette is like has slowly throughout this entire, like, there's a big tree that's sort of on the right side of you guys, and she's sort of kind of hiding, like she's slowly slinked her way far enough to like be like the tree is in between her and everything going on. So it's almost as if she's literally hiding behind this tree because she's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but these are some powerful fucking people, and I'm gonna go stand over here.
Yeah,
So she's not even necessarily like right next to you guys.
I'm slowly backing away and finding a good distance to give them all the space that they need to process whatever the fuck is happening.
Sparta doesn't know what's going on, but he knows he doesn't want to be there.
Okay. So after a few minutes, Imani is like comforting this female. Like, you don't know the three Tremere. They've never been introduced to you. You don't know their names. You've seen them every time you've seen Imani. But that's all you know. So she's kind of comforting and consoling this person. After they arrive, Ronaldo sort of stands up and joins them, and they're all kind of like huddled together, and it reminds you as if like someone just died.
Yeah.
How you would expect a family to respond to somebody being killed, so to speak. Still very strange, this whole, like, why are these kindred reacting this way? So after a few minutes of them just sort of doing their thing and standing there, Imani turns around in a very unhuman-like fashion. She moves almost how Catalina moved. When you remember Catalina, it didn't seem human in any way. She just moves in a very precise, strange, almost mechanical type fashion, and she just kind of turns around suddenly and is looking at you three that are kind of huddled together watching them cry. And she's still completely emotionless. Her face has no emotion. You can't really read what she's feeling. This is someone who is typically a warmer type person. Like every encounter that you've had with her, she's been pretty warm to you. And she slowly begins to approach you. And she says, my apologies for how we have arrived. This is difficult for Catherine. This is her mother's tomb.
Oh, we're so sorry.
No, this is not of your doing. Sadly, in order to break the magic that has been put here, we have to destroy this tomb. And as you could imagine, that is very difficult, even after all of these years.
I can understand that. She must have been a very special woman.
Now, as soon as you say that, her face completely changes, and that same warm feeling that you usually get from Imani kind of returns as she's remembering Marie, and she says, yes, Marie was a true gift. She was a dear friend of mine. And when she passed, I made a promise to myself to protect her children. And Imani looks over her shoulder at the Tremere that are there. And then she looks back at you. I have done a fine job. But this pain is something I cannot protect them from.
If there's anything we can do to help find the ones responsible, we'll do anything in our power.
I'm sure there are reasons why it was done this way. But perhaps finding those answers will take some time. Clearly, some very powerful people are mixed up in whatever is going on here in our city. And people that are possibly not connected to our city. I'm not sure the connection. I'm not sure if these are some of my people that have done this right under my nose. And that, as soon as she says that, that strange, fierce look of no emotion right back in an instant on her face. Because she's realizing that this could possibly have been done by her very own people. This was done by a Tremere. She knows that they know what exactly is on this tomb, and the significance of the tomb seems very personal. So that's why she's looking so kind of serious and stone-faced in that moment. Thank you for finding this. I know it doesn't mean a lot to you. There's not a lot of answers, but this speaks volumes for what's going on in our city. And I know just from what Ronaldo told me that your original mission was that you were out to find someone that was a threat to someone in our city. And this is a pretty big threat.
From
And it's
what
happening right under our nose.
from what you're saying, or from if I'm reading everything, all the subtext right, this is bad, isn't it? This is probably even worse than like you even thought.
It's bad if a member of our city is the one who did this. Because we're not just dealing with an enemy, we're dealing with a traitor.
Mm.
Now, we spoke to a lady on the phone earlier, and she said the same thing that the two spirit folk, if you will, were chanting as well. Clearly, she was involved in some way.
Yeah.
They were saying something regarding they are two and we are one. And I had a thought in my mind that maybe they have kindred and humans two in one, and we only have the kindred on our side.
It's a very good observation. The phrase itself doesn't particularly mean anything to us, so not sure what they are drawing on, but only time will tell as we decipher all of this. But that is good information that I would definitely relay to Lindsay when you have the chance. For now, we must do what we must to begin to protect ourselves again.
Is there anything we can do?
Well, as much as I hate this, I might need your strength. Depending on how Catherine would wish this to happen.
Anything we can do to help?
She's just gonna, that weird unhuman-like turn that she did before, she's just gonna turn around and walk the few paces back to kind of stand with the Tremere that are there. And as you're looking at the Tremere that she was referring to, you are going to notice that the man that was crying as they walked to you guys is a striking resemblance of this Catherine figure that was sobbing. So you can come to the conclusion that perhaps that is another one of the children that Imani was
totally
referring to.
look like they could be siblings.
Then, okay. after this conversation with Imani, because you guys were all kind of entranced in this conversation, like really listening. Even like Colette kind of like realized she wasn't going to get attacked, and she kind of like slowly made her way over to join this conversation and listen. And as now Imani's gone and you're kind of like looking around and noticing, there are a bunch of people there that were not there before. And if you look over toward the entrance, Lindsay is standing next to Lev. So basically, while you guys were kind of entranced, so to speak, with this conversation with Imani, unbeknownst to you, this whole entire area basically has now been cornered off and sectioned off by Lindsay and her people. And there, as you look around, there are people kind of posted up everywhere, kind of how like a cop would secure a scene. Looks exactly like that type of situation. And you can see Lindsay in her dashingly amazing suit standing over there looking damper as hell next to Lev. So she has now arrived for damage control for what is going to happen. Then you guys basically have to destroy this tomb that is here. And as Colette sees Lindsay, she's just gonna like beeline to Lindsay and go over and have a conversation with Lindsay about what's happening.
I looked at Nix and Alejandro and I said, "Do you think we should go talk to Lindsay and let her know what happened?"
I almost answered for Colette, but then I realized Colette was already gone.
I would say just let the big fish talk to each other,
Yeah.
and let's just take a moment to, I guess, take in everything that just happened very fast in a very confusing manner.
I'm still trying to figure out if this was the first premiere.
What do you mean, Alejandro? The first premiere?
I'm trying to think if this lady was a Tremere or not.
Well, she did say that it was the mother,
Yeah, but
I don't think she would be kindred.
I did a research on like the lady, on Marie. Is Marie Levre the second? What is her name?
What?
Laveau?
Sorry, I also read the wrong thing. It's not. I have to change this now in my notes because I made the wrong note. The other Tremere that was crying is a female. I apologize. Her son died. Both of her daughters are the only ones that lived.
Okay.
Continue. So you're seeing the
Is the
two females that are
daughter
crying are
Marie
daughters.
Laveau the second? Does she look like one of those two people, the other Tremires that are there from the portraits and stuff?
The other two that were with Imani. Yeah, so the other female that was, so remember how I said it was a male that was walking? I read the wrong information. It was, sorry, a female was walking and crying along with Imani, and that female looks similar to the Catherine that is hunched down crying. So you're assuming that those two are likely
But does
related and sister.
Catherine look like Marie Laveau the second?
Oh yeah, she looks strikingly similar to the picture that you saw. By this point, she probably would be kind of standing up. You'd be able to see her. You would know
Does she
that
look the same?
like the same, like that's
Is
her.
that the person?
No, Imani told you that that was her mother. Marie was her mother. It's not Marie Laveau. She died.
Yeah,
This is her daughter.
Yeah. No, what you were saying is that Marie Laveau had a daughter called Marie Laveau II.
Yes.
Is that
Oh, you're asking is that one? Yes. But she goes by Catherine, which is her
Catherine?
middle name.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. They have the
Marie
same name. Confused my fucking brain so
Catherine.
bad.
That's why I said the
Yes.
second. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second, that is her, but she goes by the name Catherine, which is was also her mother's middle name. Marie Catherine. That's what she goes by. Catherine. And then
Well,
her sisters, well, I guess you guys wouldn't know that information. Not at
yeah.
this point. You wouldn't know her sister's name.
What I'm curious about is Judith said that the cemeteries were safe, so I wonder if other important tombs, if it's been done to those as well. And what did they mean by the cemeteries are safe?
Well, if there are kindred like Imani that can become ghostly entities and protect certain spaces, that's probably what it means, I would assume.
So maybe if we check out some of the other cemeteries, we might find
Yeah, like
something
Alejandro was saying earlier, yes, we should totally go check out the other important.
and we might find those two people in spirit form or whatever. We might run into them again.
But no more breaking tombs or doors or anything like that.
Oh, I'm definitely over that.
Are you?
Yeah. Clearly, this lady was super important, and
No shit.
Well,
I probably shouldn't have kicked the door down.
the whole thing is gonna go. So it's not that we did a lot of damage that wasn't already actually done. We just found out the damage that was hidden, actually.
True. But yeah, I think we should definitely try to find any other tombs that this might have been done to. It might give us a little more insight, and I'm sure Lindsay and the prince and all of the other kindred would definitely like to know if any other tombs that are important to them if this has been done to them.
Or maybe
Because this
find
one
a
was clearly
pattern,
targeted.
because like Imani said, we are missing something.
Exactly. This tomb was clearly targeted for a reason.
Well, we found out the reason.
Yeah, we need to find it.
What we also need to see is the locations of the graveyards. As weird as it sounds, but
I
what
believe
if
Colette said there was a Saint. What was the St. Peter's Cemetery? There was two St. Peter's cemeteries,
wasn't it St. Louis?
Isn't
or
it
St.
St. Louis?
St. Louis.
Same thing. One of those saints.
Those same things, you know? Like those ones.
I think that would be our best option for the next cemetery.
So after you guys are having this conversation, Colette has left and is chatting with Lindsay. After a few minutes of them chatting, Lindsay, Lev, and Colette are gonna kind of approach you guys.
And we're just like,
And
chatting exactly like
Yeah.
that, nothing.
Lindsay is gonna kind of acknowledge you guys. Hello.
I bow.
A bow.
You know?
She
Hello.
laughs. She laughs a little. as she watches you bow before her.
What?
Jesus.
Is this not respectful? Like, am I doing you
No,
wrong?
it's very respectful. Thank you for that.
We're not in a dojo, you know that, right?
I don't
It's
know
fine.
anything anymore.
Some of us could have learned a little thing or two about respect.
Oh, come on now. This time it wasn't my fault. I didn't do jack shit. I was just what? I was just
Lindsay's
watching.
gonna look at Alejandro for a second, completely unamused by his response back to her. And is going to then tell them that they're going to give the family some time to take in everything that's going on, and that her and her crew will take care of whatever needs to happen. And she basically is going to tell you guys that if there's anything else that you guys need to do, if there's any other leads you feel you need to follow. Basically, Colette caught her up on speed. Colette did not tell her that little revelation that Nyx had. So if you want to share that
Yeah,
information,
I'm
that would
definitely
be the
going to
time.
share it, as we are probably going to segue into asking what to do next anyway. But
Right.
yeah, I'm going to be like, Lindsay, Imani said that I should probably mention this to you. But as we were there witnessing this whole thing go down, the two disembodied kindred, I guess we could call it like that, that were in the tomb were chanting very similar thing to the screenshot text message that I sent Lev earlier from the conversation with Judith Foster. As she was saying, 2 is 1, 1 is 2, 2, you are 2, we are 1. The entities were saying 2 is better than 1, we are 2, you are 1, we will outlast. So I don't know, I thought that maybe could be related to the fact that they are working with kindred. It's humans and kindred against only one, which is us, kindred.
Okay. I think you might be on to something with that idea. I definitely think whoever this group is, they do have some sort of a knowledge of who we are and what we can do. And the extent of that, I don't know. And if someone is willingly working with them, I don't know, but it very well is beginning to look like that. Especially if the woman that perhaps is connected to this group was uttering things of similar forms to these two kindred that you just encountered, then it's very possible there's a connection. And that, in fact, there are some kindred working with them. And I believe we may have met 2 of those kindred tonight.
We were also thinking that perhaps other tombs of important people might have had something similar done to them.
Okay. That's a good point. There are 2 other St. Louis cemeteries in the French Quarter. Lev already scouted all of the areas and he didn't find anything. But if you guys want to take a look.
Yes, Alejandro?
Lindsay, how, if you think map wise, how would these 3 graveyards align?
Map wise,
Yeah,
she's gonna thinks for a second.
I know it sounds kind of weird, but we have a symbol, and these three grave sites, if you look at it from an air point, could make that symbol
What
potentially.
symbol do we have? What are you referring to? Did you find something new?
I thought you were informed by the symbols that was seen on
Are you referring to the circle with the 3 crosses?
the. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't believe these cemeteries would make a circle. Just from my knowledge of where they are. The 3 St. Louis cemeteries are all within the same area of each other.
Okay.
Now there's many cemeteries outside of just the St. Louis cemeteries that are in this particular area.
Judith also said that cemeteries were safe, and Ronaldo said that whatever that was on the wall, it was some kind of ward or anything. Does that keep Kindred safe in some way?
Uh, fuck me. Hold on. I don't think I made a character sheet for Lindsay yet. I did it. Oops. Would Lindsay have a cult?
Yeah.
I feel like she would have some knowledge of a cult. Okay. She would explain that wards are spells of protection. So, yes, in a way, it does protect. That's why it harmed you when you touched it. It sort of protects and repels, so to speak. They can use them in different fashions, but typically if they are touched or walked into, if they're on the ground, if you walk into it, typically it would hurt you like it did when you touched it.
Yeah, it definitely hurt. So if they said cemeteries in the plural sense, it makes sense that there would be other sites for sure.
Very true. If it was possibly only one location, they probably would have said the cemetery is
Cemetery.
safe. Well, it doesn't hurt to go and take a look around. Um, don't touch anything
Oh, trust
if
me.
you
I'm,
stumble across more of this. Sadly, the only way to stop the power of this particular magic is to destroy whatever the object it's on, which is why, they're having as hard of a time at this as they are. I wouldn't want to disturb my mother's grave.
understandable. So, is there anything you want us to do next?
Um, I think for now, perhaps go and check out the other 2 cemeteries in this area. There is another one nearby. There's actually a series of few. There's a St. Louis. There's 3 St. Louis cemeteries, which is directly connected to this one. And then there's the Lafette cemeteries. There are 2 of them, and those are also very famous. I don't know if you recall the bar that Ronaldo likes to go to is the Lafette fuck. What's the word I'm looking for? She would know this. Damn it. Jenna. Brain. Wait. blacksmith shop. She didn't stumble over her words.
No.
And that is a very popular area. So a lot of everything. And she like kind of stops for a moment and she says, now that I think of it, do you remember the murders? The 2 in the apartment?
Yes.
Lafette's cemetery is very close by. So, seems like everything that has happened so far has been within the French Quarter. The hotel with Eden, the second murders with the message. The only thing that didn't happen was with the Galeo sisters, but I think that's because they were following you. And now this is also in the French Quarter. So I think focus on the cemeteries within the French Quarter, and particularly the more famous ones like this one, they are permanently closed to the public. So not a lot of people typically come in here and mess with them. So they would be the perfect place for someone to go if they were doing something they shouldn't, because they wouldn't be disturbed by family members and people coming through the cemetery.
Now, the 2 murders, we still didn't find a reason why they had been killed. Do they have any ties to any of the cemeteries? Like maybe they worked there,
I could look into that.
and maybe they saw
Not
something
sure.
they weren't supposed to and had to be dealt with.
Possibly. Yeah, we can look into that and see if there's any connection. There was nothing on our radar before now, so we didn't think to look that information. So I think focus on the handful of cemeteries that are within the French Quarter. See what you find, if anything, and we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
And there's not. She just pauses. There is one tomb in particular that is of significance, but I will have that one checked myself by a team. And she is odd. Her response seems odd. Like she's secretive for some reason that she shouldn't be secretive to you guys about this particular person and their tomb.
Well, if you are going to investigate this mystery tomb, which location is it so we can avoid it and we don't go there?
Right. It is the St. Louis Cemetery number 3.
Okay.
We'll leave that one to you, and we'll focus on the other 3.
Okay.
And would you like us to start looking at them tonight?
Wouldn't hurt. You have some time if you want to. There's not necessarily a rush. Whatever you guys decide and feel comfortable with.
It's definitely the only lead we've found so far.
The thing is, like, we're saying there's no rush, but if they know that we're already on track, they might be trying to hide something so that we don't find it.
Perhaps.
Because just like
You
anything
also have
else,
to
like in time,
remember that there are now eyes all over the city that were not there an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So movement that is unusual will stick
Attract
out
notice.
more than before. So I've got my ear to the ground. We're watching too to see if anybody comes out and does anything unusual or anyone that shouldn't be here.
Then I think we shouldn't waste any more time and jump right on it.
All right.
Lindsay, one question. Have you heard from LA yet? About
I
Bertrand's
have not.
file? Alright.
There seems to be some red tape, but I'm working through it.
Alright.
All right, we'll get back to work.
All right. Well, I'll take care of this, and you guys be careful.
Will do.
She's gonna slowly kind of walk over to Imani, and something strange that you haven't necessarily seen from Lindsay when she gets like kind of next to Imani, like they put their like Imani like puts her arm around Lindsay. Lindsay is slightly taller than Imani, so Lindsay like puts her arms around Imani's shoulder, and there's like this affection between them that it's not like romantic affection, it's just like affection, and you're kind of like, huh. Okay. Was it not really expecting that from Lindsay? Lindsay, for one, doesn't seem like the affectionate type, but also with Imani in particular. So it does show there is some relationship there. Also, you remember, you don't know anything about Lindsay and who she is and her background.
True.
I look at Alejandro and Nix and I say, so which one should we start with?
Motel
I
one.
mean, we can't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Lafette.
I look over at Colette. Hey, Colette.
Yeah.
This definitely be the Bruja distancing themselves from the Camarilla.
What?
This definitely this definitely beats the fact that our clan start distancing ourselves from all of this.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I mean,
Colette, okay, one thing to remember about Colette's very connected to these people. She's also very connected to the Camarilla. She has a life loyalty to these people and to the Camarilla. So her kind of disgust that's kind of natural for most Brujas when it comes to the Camarilla and the way they do things has sort of since disappeared in her time of working with these people. So while she understands where you're coming from, she doesn't necessarily entertain the idea of like what you're talking about, and she's just kind of like, dude, whatever. These are my people. Like it or not. Yes, I know I'm a Bruja, but you know, me and the Camarilla, we go back. They saved my ass a few times.
I guess it's time to get ourselves going.
I agree. So let's start with the Lafette cemeteries.
So I want to check in because we are back to our reset. We have been going on for pretty much 6 hours now.
Yes.
As we're entering another subchapter of this night, shall we leave on the cliffhanger? Instead
I think it would
of,
be
like,
a good spot.
continuing.
Yeah, the thing about today's session is it hasn't been that long that you guys have been out. Like, the whole start of the night, the phone call was probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of you guys farting around and then making a phone call and then leaving. So that would have left it, what, like 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.? And now you You went to the gun place, but that was super fast. And then now you've been at the cemetery for, I'd say
Which was
probably,
like close by, maybe an hour.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if.
So it's probably like between 10 and 11 o'clock at night.
So
like
yeah,
you
there's
still
like plenty
have,
of night.
yeah, quite a few hours of nighttime. So if you guys want to leave it here and then pick up, we could probably finish another night. Like the next session could probably just be the rest of this night.
I think
If that makes sense.
I think this is a good spot to stop on a cliffhanger.
What's gonna happen next?